There is currently a George Floyd biopic in development because Hollywood, and what else would you expect from Hollywood? And reportedly, the title is going to be Daddy Changed the World. I think that makes it so much weirder than it even was initially when I saw the news of this. Yeah, a biopic titled Daddy Changed the World is in development, focusing on the life and legacy of George Floyd. The film is a collaborative effort involving Radar Pictures, 8 Queens Film and Media Productions, and Night Fox Entertainment. Notably, Floyd's daughter, Gianna Floyd, and her mother, Roxy Washington, are serving as executive producers. And I read further into this. The biopic will apparently not portray George Floyd as a perfect person.
The litmus test for this will be, will they include the robbery that he was a part of?
Will they include all of his crimes?
I'm not saying all of them. I'm saying, but that was a significant argument to the contrary that was made by people who said you shouldn't evangelize this guy. Like, it makes sense that if you include that story, people might be willing to look at this as a more even keel piece. I don't think they will do that. Especially after we just went over the controversies with the Donald Trump biopic. And how they are attempting to portray him as a monster, it's very telling that this is what comes out in the news the next day. So they're aiming not to portray Floyd as a perfect person, but rather a father with human flaws whose horrific death changed the world. It will not be a traditional biopic, but more of a, quote, gritty drama of a man and his community thrust into the fiery light of history.
There has been zero positive social change from the death of George Floyd. Absolutely zero.
Got a lot of people rich, though.
Crime isn't. Yeah, there's some people that have grifted off of it, but crime has increased significantly. A lot of people died. There was a lot of damage. There's been zero social change. The narrative that it was built on was BS in the first place, because the narrative was that there was thousands of unarmed black men being killed by police every year, and that was never happening. Like, that was just BS right off the bat. So it was a social panic that has done nothing but terrible damage to the U.S., and race relations in the U.S. have not been worse since the 60s, 70s.
I demand that they make it a double feature with a David Dorn.
It's going to be
movie.
It's only going to make everything worse.
You know, and
so do you feel represented because this is finally representation for Minnesotans?
As a Minnesotan, yes, I feel. But okay, so this was my other pitch. Okay, so you want to make this movie? Fine. I demand it be part of a cinematic universe with a Purge movie that takes place during the riots. Right? And they put the Purge franchise into the riots. I mean, $500 million of damage done to the city of Minneapolis. I loved the lowball.
Just Minneapolis, never mind the rest of the country.
It was like 55 million was their lowball number to begin with, and it was much, much higher than that. But they turn it into a Purge movie, and then I can get behind it. I'll watch that.
You know, and it's worth noting that recently we had the anniversary of Michael Brown as well, who was a narrative that was a lie that was fed to the population, to the American people. And that, you know, that resulted in Ferguson being burnt, a bunch of property damage. I don't know how many people died during the Ferguson riots, but that was the whole hands up, don't shoot. That was never a thing. Michael Brown's DNA was found on the cop's gun. There was a bullet hole inside the cruiser because Michael Brown was fighting with the cop trying to get his gun. And people continue still to this day to say that Michael Brown was an innocent man that had his hands up and he wasn't trying to get shot. He was like saying hands up, don't shoot. That was a lie from day one. CNN had like a whole panel. They're all doing it, but it was BS. And it's done nothing but horrible things for the country.
Of course, all of the articles that are being written about this are repeating the same lies that were told about George Floyd's death all over again. It doesn't really matter what's true.
You pointed out the one that says that he was forced out of the car and onto the ground.
Yeah, forced to lie on the ground when that is in the body cam footage what he was asking to do. But you know, regardless, it doesn't really matter. That's what the movie is going to portray. And George Floyd's baby mama said in a statement, "We're excited the world will see the real jovial and loving George we know." This film will humanize him, embody the essence of his life, and hopefully reignite efforts to pass the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act. It's time for justice and equality for all. We need to make these changes swiftly. No other child should lose their father like Gianna did. We thank everyone who stood with us and protested. George's legacy will live on through this film.
Here is where Hollywood really does its work. This is what they love more than anything. They love the idea of their art being used for social reform. That's what the bread and butter is for a lot of this industry. I do wonder whether this film will end up going straight to streaming, which is, I assume that this will be a streaming movie. I can't imagine this getting a theater release.
I don't think so either.
I can't imagine there being a significant demand to get people out. That'll get people out of the house to go see the movie.
But this is the pretentious filmmaker's dream for a movie. One of them said, "I'm committed to using my platform and talents to make a positive impact on the world. By telling George Floyd's story and shedding light on the injustices faced by marginalized communities, I hope to inspire change and create a better future for generations to come. George Floyd's legacy will not be forgotten, and I am honored to be a part of this important project." But I just thought I would read out some of George Floyd's crimes for which he spent time in prison.
20 there from Carnell.
Carnell said the George Floyd movie is likely to leave audiences breathless. I'll see myself out. Thank you. But yeah, in 1998, he spent 10 months in prison for armed robbery. In 2002, he spent 8 months in prison for cocaine, and then another time in 2004, and another time in 2005. And then in 2007, he spent 5 years in prison for armed robbery of the pregnant woman in her home. That was the incident in which he allegedly pointed a gun at her stomach.
I thought that part of it had been disproven or something like that.
I don't know.
That he was part of the robbery. I don't know.
But are they going to portray this side of George Floyd?
No,
I don't think so.
The most important thing you can do if you're trying to portray some type of objectivity would be to show his role in that crime. Now, if the idea here is like, look, that was in 2007, and that after committing an absolutely horrific crime, he turned his life around, that's one thing. I don't know enough about his history to know whether that's true or not, but I'm just saying that how you tell the story is very, very important to getting audiences to actually buy that you're not committing political propaganda, but it will be political propaganda, and everyone knows that.
It doesn't humanize someone to erase all of their flaws and all of the things they did wrong in life.
Correct.
I mean, really, a big theme in that movie, if they were doing it in a realistic way, would be his drug addiction issues.
Yeah.
But I don't even know if they're going to focus on that.
Which he struggled with all the way up until he died. And that's a huge part of it. And that's something that rings true. I was thinking about, who was the actor, somebody in the chat will know his name, the actor who played Omar in The Wire. He died of fentanyl, and so did one of the actors from True Blood. Both of these guys, who were successful in Hollywood, at least to a point, and maybe weren't getting as much work these days, but still were well known, died of these same types of drug overdoses. That's a story that unifies more people if you actually focus on that. But we understand that that's not what this is going to be. And if you downplay the role of the riots as righteous, you're going to anger a lot of people. You're going to anger business owners, at least the ones that haven't been, propagandized into believing that they should sacrifice their businesses for the sake of people being upset.
They might not even
to law-abiding citizens. That's a hard sell to show those riots as, oh well, I guess it needed to happen.
I mean, the whole think piece brigade was saying, like, this is why rioting is actually a good thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there was all
it's the voice
of
the unheard.
Right. Yeah.
Oh yes, thank you, Michael K. Williams. I almost said Terrence K. Williams.
Do we have casting choices?
Okay, so I gave you 3 options. I said Jonathan Majors, Denzel Washington, or Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling is in the lead. I also saw Chris Pratt. Someone threw that out there.
Somebody said Jamie Foxx.
But Jonathan Majors could do this if they put him on stilts.
Too young.
Too young? I just think he's too short.
Jonathan, I think maybe Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx has played a lot of other, famous people. So we can go with that.
I mean, this is just obviously a clown show. I don't think anyone should take it seriously. And it's really sad because it actually you know, this was a real person, right?
Yep.
You're just using him as a pawn in your political propaganda.
Yes.
So we'll, and then I guess the other question is who ends up playing Derek Chauvin?
Tom Holland.
I don't have that picture pulled up, but I want to show that one anyways.
He got the Derek Chauvin haircut already.
Yes, he did. He looks right now. There's a picture of Tom Holland where he definitely looks like he turns the body cam off. So let's we'll wait and see. Again, I'm more interested to see where this goes, whether it goes to theater or streaming. I highly doubt it goes to theaters. It'll end up on Hulu or Amazon Prime.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.